Chairman, honorable guests. Thank you for giving me the opportunity for presenting my case. So I'll be talking about a tricky ruptured iliac artery aneurysm. It's a simple case. This was a male patient who was 55 years old. He was a heavy smoker who used to smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day, and he arrived to our emergency department with the complaint of vague back pain that was radiating a little bit to the left side. His initial vital examinations were within normal limits, and his clinical examination was only significant for a palpable strong pulse in the right iliac fossa. The good thing is that the patient was rushed to the CT, and the CT angio showed that he has quite a normal looking aorta all the way through. When you're inside the abdomen, you could see that there is fluid inside, and he had a huge right iliac artery aneurysm. Now, the tricky or the challenging part here is that the iliac artery aneurysm started immediately at the aortic bifurcation, giving us no landing zone at all and no distance between the aneurysm and the aorta, and it ended at the iliac bifurcation while it's giving the internal iliac artery. So this is a 3D image of how the aneurysm looked like. So the maximum diameter of the iliac aneurysm was 8.7 centimeters. And as I said, the problem was that it was rising just after the aortic bifurcation, and it was ending by the bifurcation into the hypogastric and external iliac. And of course, it was quite clear in the CT that it was already leaking. The patient was being shifted from the CT to the induction room to start the OR, and the plan was to go for an endovascular treatment. The patient did collapse while he was being shifted from the CT to the induction room, the OR. CPR was started, and luckily for us, after 5-10 minutes, we could start detecting a heartbeat again. The thing that was done here is that in an emergency situation, before I was able to reach the OR, a 9 French sheath was placed from his left femoral artery, and a regular 20-millimeter balloon was placed inside, and it was inflated to try and control the bleeding. Once inside the OR, this is the picture of the balloon that was placed to try and control the bleeding, and you can see that it was pulsating. Now, this is the angiography showing that we have a huge iliac artery aneurysm. You could see that the internal iliac is coming down, and you could still see that there is leaking from the posterior aspect of it. The first step was that we had to isolate the internal iliac artery, so I placed 2 coils using a rim catheter that we went through from the same side. I could not go from the other side because I had to keep my occlusion balloon in the aorta to try and maintain the patient not bleeding. After coiling, I went with the balloon from the same side to replace that other balloon, and then the double balloon technique, so that I would always have proper control of the aorta without any bleeding until I were able to deploy the full EVAR device. On the upper image, you could see that this was with a simple hand injection. The aorta was being filled so that I could visualize where are the renal arteries, and the occluding balloon that is coming from the left side is doing a good job maintaining no leakage through the aorta. Now, the device was placed ipsilaterally from the right side, and I had to place an extension limb, of course, on the right side, just to go from where the device was placed to 1 centimeter beyond the origin of the internal iliac artery. After that was done, the second balloon, aortic balloon, was inserted from the right side and placed at the level of the neck of the aortic graft, inflated. Then the other balloon, which is more proximal, will be deflated, and then we'll start using the left femoral axis to try and cannulate the device and deploy the contralateral limb. The idea is to, as I said, always try and maintain no leakage. So on the upper left corner, there was the trial to cannulate the gate. So once successful, wire was passed in geography just to make sure that the balloon, the stent would be placed in its proper position. Deployment of the contralateral gate was done. Of course, post-deployment balloon was done to both sides. And this is the final angio showing us good results. The distal run showing us that the aneurysm was completely isolated and we had good results. Thank you.